Hi everyone, it's Chris. Welcome to Firms Consulting channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about how do you compete with a high-performing individual within your organization. So it can be a situation where you work for a major consulting company like Deloitte, McKinsey, BCG, or you can be working at Google or Amazon and you are competing with other high performers who are very driven, very dedicated, and some of them may already have an established reputation, and maybe you are working in a new team or you are new to an organization and you don't have established reputation yet. So I want to talk to you about some tips that I learned over the years on how to set yourself apart when you are competing with a high-performing individual. So the first one is don't rock the boat. Let's imagine you're in a situation where you're new to an organization and you're working with somebody with a very solid reputation. Everyone thinks that this person is a high performer. So in this particular situation, my first advice will be just stay in your own lane. Kind of imagine if everyone's career is a movie, just stay in your own movie. Focus on, okay, so what are the key deliverables, the key pieces of work that I can take on, that I can put my time and effort into, that will be visible to leadership, and focus on that. Focus on delivery. Don't get distracted. Number two is learn from the high-performing consultant. This is a great opportunity to work with somebody whose leadership of this organization considers to be a top performer. So emulate them, learn, watch what is it they do that establishes them as such a high performer, and try to emulate it, try to learn from it. Management consulting, if you are in management consulting, is an amazing opportunity to learn from people because you get to work with them very closely, very long hours. Let's say you're on a project for a month and you work with someone 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day. You eat lunch together, you eat dinner together, you chat about your life. So you really get close to a person, and it is an opportunity for you to learn from them, to understand what is it that they do that you don't do yet that makes them successful. What can you borrow? What can you emulate? And focus on that. See it as an opportunity. And another thing to keep in mind is if you are in management consulting, it is very, very likely that this person will not be around for a long time. Because in management consulting, there is a huge amount of turnover, and this consultant may be gone in 1 month or 5 months or 1 year. So use it as an opportunity to get to know somebody who is so exceptional, and maybe he or she can become a friend for life. Maybe you can really strike an amazing friendship and help each other throughout your entire careers. Number three, while you want to develop very good relationship with this consultant, you also need to figure out how do you outshine them, or at least how do you not be in their shadow. And here you can think about what can you leverage, what are the unique strengths or the unique resources that you have. Maybe you know someone within an organization that can provide you with input that will be vital for success of your project if you're a management consultant. And this will be an input that this other consultant cannot provide and that your team can really benefit from. So this is just one example. Think about what makes you uniquely different and uniquely valuable to your team. So again, imagine you're in management consulting, and I'm thinking back when I was starting my consulting career. I was competing with very high-performing individuals with sophisticated degrees, and at the time all I had was my piano degree, and I was trying to complete my Bachelor's of Commerce part-time because I was already working full-time. What I figured out is that one unique skill that I had was knowledge of Russian market and knowledge of Russian language. And I figured out that there was a project going on within strategy and operations practice where a team was trying to help a client to enter Russian market, and nobody on the team spoke Russian, nobody on the team had any experience working in Russia. And even though at that time I was working in the research unit full-time, which is a research unit within that management consulting firm, and it is at much lower level than being a management consultant within that same organization, I was able to approach a partner in charge of that study, volunteer my time, basically work for free on weekends and evenings after doing my day job, and within a few weeks I was offered a full-time position with that team. So Look for opportunities. What makes you uniquely qualified, uniquely good, uniquely valuable to the leadership within your organization, within your team, and focus on delivering exceptional results that only you can deliver. Number 4, be on the lookout to own important pieces of work. Let's say again, you're in a management consulting line of work, and you are on a project and you look around, okay, so what are the deliverables that I can own? And yes, you not always have an opportunity to volunteer to do something, because often everything is assigned by someone more senior than you to you, but often you will have an opportunity to own something important. And often it will even happen because it was supposed to be done by someone else, but this person is behind on their work, so you already finished your work early and you're stepping in and you're finishing something very important to the project. So always look for an opportunity to own, actually be accountable for, not just do the work, but be accountable for an important piece of work. So for example, let's say it is financial modeling. You take it, you own it, you put your heart and soul into it, you put all the effort you can possibly put into it, you do amazing work, you send it to leadership to review and for input. You are the one who holds the master document, you are the one who incorporates input, and you are the one who potentially will be sending some kind of deliverables related to it to the client. So that makes you visible, that makes your work visible. Because if you're working on something important and leadership will be reviewing it, they will know that you're the one who worked on it, and they will know that you put in a lot more than what was expected of you into it if you actually do it. Number 5 is related to it. And I know that it is probably a little bit selfish to do it this way, and I wasn't doing things this way for a long time, but I did learn that unfortunately you have to play the game. So basically number 5 is try not to do work that is not visible. And I can tell you a story from my life, just very briefly. On projects, when I was a management consultant, I would often spend hours checking other consultants' work and making it much better for the benefit of the team. But then leadership of the project will not know that I put in so much effort into it. They would just give all the credit to the consultant who was responsible for that piece of work, coming back to the previous point, on important pieces of work. So over time, I learned it is much better for me to find opportunities where it is beneficial for the team, but it's also beneficial for my career, because I don't have unlimited resources, I don't have unlimited energy, and I don't have unlimited time. So I have to focus on work that is visible and important to the success of the project. Number 6 is act as if disengagement is the most important thing for you. Be the one who comes first and leaves last. Be the one who really puts in everything they can into this project. Be the one who is available to work on evenings and weekends for the success of the team and success of the client. And those things really pay off in the long term. Number 7 is speak up during team meetings, during meetings with the client, but be cautious. Emulate someone who is senior on your team and successful. So emulate them. How do they communicate with the client? How do they communicate within the team? And make sure that you speak up. If you do not contribute, then it's very bad for you as a professional. So for example, even if we think about management consulting, what do we get paid for? We get paid for our expertise, our ability to solve important problems. So if you have nothing to say, if you do not contribute, then you are not visible and you are less important and you are not viewed as a partner material. Same advice goes for other industries. So for example, if you work in banking, again, during team meetings, during meetings with clients, make sure that you are contributing, but again, be cautious. Don't step on anyone's toes. Be careful, but make sure you add value as much as possible. Number 8 is related to 7. Be ready to present at client meetings. And here I wanted specifically to talk about it as a separate point, because there are a couple of things that I need to mention here. So clients in management consulting, and I kind of speak a lot about management consulting because I spent a large part of my life focusing on that area of work. So I'm going to give you advice around that area particularly, but that advice is also applicable for other areas like banking and startups and defense industry and all kinds of things. But examples that I give are primarily from management consulting, because for two reasons. One, I spent a large part of my life focusing on management consulting, and two, many people within our community are specifically interested in management consulting. So, a couple of things here when dealing with clients. You have to be very, very careful. Communication with clients is very delicate. It's very easy to offend clients, and clients have a lot of power. Clients have a power to fire you, fire your entire team, or fire you off the project. Clients have the power to never engage your firm again, and those things will be just a death blow for your career within that firm. So you have to be very careful here. You have to really play the game. You have to figure out what this client values, and never upset the client by not living up to those values. So you have to be incredibly careful and perfect. It's almost like dating somebody who is incredibly demanding, but you for some reason really need to date this person. So you have to be on your absolute best behavior. You cannot upset them in any way, and you have to predict how they're going to react to things. You have to over-deliver. You have to never let them down. It's a very delicate dance that you have to perform. So a few quick tips. Never type notes in front of a client. That can really backfire. Many clients find it disrespectful. If client during a meeting is not happy with something you are saying, even if you're 100% right, and you're sure that you're 100% right, do not argue with them. Never be in any way disrespectful, or if someone can think that you're disrespectful. So basically you have to walk on eggshells with clients. That's probably an easy way to say it. Just be careful, really be careful. Plan ahead and be extra delicate. The smallest things can upset them. So for example, Kevin Coyne, one of the coaches that does many of our programs, was sharing a story that very well illustrates this point. So he was serving a client who wanted to become a leader within a particular industry. And that was this client's lifelong dream, to be a leader within that industry, to be the largest player within the industry. And they came to Kevin's team and asked for help. And Kevin's team found a way for them to become the biggest, the largest competitor. And the way was to acquire another similar in size competitor who could be acquired even in a hostile way, and then that particular client will become the biggest, the largest, the most powerful player in that industry. And on top of that, after that particular acquisition, none of the other acquisitions would be allowed because government will want to maintain a competitive environment. And this client found it upsetting and I guess in some way disrespectful that Kevin even suggested something like that, because this particular client hated that other company, not just hated particular people within that company, but hated the entire competitor, that company. And the client was so upset about Kevin proposing this as a solution that Kevin was never able to repair the relationship after this event. Number 9, and I think I already mentioned it earlier, but I will point it out as a separate point here because it's so important. Be the first one to arrive and the last one to leave, especially at the beginning when you're building up your career. And it's very difficult, but also at the same time, don't burn out. So obviously within reason, don't do it all the time, but when it matters, when you are working on something very important, make sure that you put in the work that is required to be an outstanding performer. Whether you're in management consulting, you're in banking, in another industry, just make sure. And when I say be the first one to arrive and the last one to leave, it doesn't always mean literally be the one that arrives first and leaves last from your particular office. But I mean, generally, just make sure that you put in the work, the effort that is required to actually be an outstanding performer when you're competing with other outstanding performers. Here, you're competing with top performers already, so you have to really go extra mile. But at the same time, be very careful, make sure you don't burn out. So you have to be very systematic. You need to know how much you need to sleep, what do you need to eat, how much exercise do you need. You need to make sure that you really take care of yourself. It may be a period when you cannot afford to actually go with your buddies and drink in a bar, because you just don't have the capacity for that. You have to preserve the little time that you have that is free to maintain good health, so you don't burn out and you can continue performing at a high level. Number 10, the leadership within your organization need to see yourself in you. So for example, if you're a management consultant and you're working as part of a team, the partner on the project, the principal on the project, the engagement manager on the project, if you're not an engagement manager, need to see themselves in you. They need to see it. And if you are a very high performer, if you are a person who really puts in a lot of work, they will see themselves in you in one way or another, because it takes a lot to get promoted to partner level within management consulting firms. It's not something that is easy. So one quality they had to have is to be incredibly hardworking people with an outstanding work ethic. So that's one thing you can do. Find other ways to find common ground with them. So for example, maybe they play an instrument that you also play. Try to build the relationship among common interests so that senior people can see themselves in you, because if they see themselves in you, they will want to help you more. Number 11, take rest when you can to avoid burnout. Yes, it's very important for you to work very hard, but as I mentioned, you have to be very careful not to burn out. So you have to be very systematic, as I mentioned, to actually have a life that allows you not to burn out. So make sure you take care of yourself. So month down the line, 2 months down the line, you don't feel that I really put in way more than I should have. I didn't get anything back. And then you start feeling really down. You start losing energy and you just start going downhill. Don't allow that. Be very systematic. You need to be very diligent, not only in your work, but in how you take care of yourself. Number 12, look for opportunities to shine and exploit them. And the opportunity can be as simple as client having a baby shower for one of their employees, and they just casually invite you and your team. Your leadership on the project doesn't even know that you were invited for a baby shower. You send an email and saying, look, we were invited as a team to attend the baby shower of Susan. You go, you buy a gift, and it's an opportunity for your team to get closer to the client, to celebrate something with the client, and it allows team to build better relationship. It allows your firm to build a better relationship with this client. So it's a very simple thing that you can do, and look for opportunities like that. There are a lot of little things that you can do to help your team to do better on a project. So look for those little opportunities, big opportunities to shine, even when it is not directly related to work. Another thing that you can do, and I saw it being very effective in consulting, is just buy some candies and put it next to your desk if you are based at clients' offices. And people will come by, they will take some candies off your desk. Obviously, you have to be comfortable with people eating those candies, and if someone will get sick from eating too much candies, they will blame you. So there are always some elements you have to consider. But I saw somebody doing it, and particularly in his situation, it really worked for him, because the entire client's team used to come to his desk, chat with him, take his candies, and because of that, they liked the entire team better. And because of that, the partner on this engagement actually said that this particular guy was the smarter person than any of us on the team. So very simple tip, doesn't take much money, doesn't take much effort. This guy just kept it there overnight, he didn't care, something to consider. So just little opportunities for you to shine can make a huge difference. Since career is a marathon and not a sprint, don't panic, just put in the work every day and you will start seeing results. It's like Will Smith once said, you don't set out to build a wall. You don't say, I'm going to build the biggest, baddest, greatest wall that is ever been built. You don't start there. You say, I'm going to lay this brick as perfectly as this brick can be laid. You do that every day, and soon you will have a wall. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please like it, subscribe, share it with your friends. Comment in the comments below. It really helps us to know that you enjoyed it and that we should make more videos like that. Let me know what kind of videos you would like me to make going forward. And I really enjoyed spending this time with you, and I'm looking forward to see you next time. And if you are not on our email list, make sure that you subscribe, because we do share a lot of free episodes, including from our advanced paid programs, so you can get a tremendous benefit without spending any money. So just go to firmsconsulting.com, FIRMS consulting.com, and you will see opt-in at the top of the homepage. Just put in your email, name, and we will start sending you some amazing episodes so that you can take your learning to the next level. I hope you will have a fantastic the rest of your day and week, and I'm looking forward to see you next time.